What if the laws that once reshaped America's fight for equality are now being reinterpreted in a completely different way? What if the very protections designed to stop discrimination are being recast as a source of unfairness themselves? That's the question igniting a fresh and deeply controversial debate in the United States today, and it's coming straight from the Oval Office. In a recent interview with the New York Times, President Donald Trump offered one of his clearest endorsements yet of a long-debated idea that landmark civil rights protections from the 1960s have, over time, resulted in discrimination against white Americans. His remarks are not just words. They reflect a broader shift in how civil rights are being discussed, enforced, and redefined under his administration. And the implications could be far-reaching, from college admissions to workplace policies, and even the future of federal anti-discrimination law itself. When asked directly whether civil rights-era policies, especially those tied to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, had inadvertently harmed white people, President Trump did not hesitate. He said he believed a lot of people were very badly treated, pointing to cases where white applicants were allegedly denied jobs or college placements because of their race. Trump framed these outcomes as examples of what he called reverse discrimination. While he acknowledged that civil rights laws brought some benefits, his core argument was that the system has gone too far, creating new forms of unfairness in the process. This viewpoint is not isolated. It actually mirrors arguments increasingly voiced by senior figures within his administration, including Vice President J.D. Vance and other top aides. Together, they have encouraged white men who believe they've been discriminated against to file formal complaints, portraying diversity initiatives and affirmative action policies as fundamentally unjust. These statements are closely tied to concrete policy actions. Within just a few hours of returning to the office in 2025, President Trump signed executive measures dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion, often called DEI, offices across multiple federal agencies. These offices were originally built to confront deep-rooted inequality, championing fairness for communities that have long been pushed to the margins, including racial minorities and women. Beyond that, the administration issued directives scaling back enforcement of key civil rights concepts, including the disparate impact theory. This legal framework has long been used to challenge policies that may appear neutral on the surface, but disproportionately harm protected groups in practice. Perhaps most strikingly, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC, has shifted its public messaging. Under Trump's leadership, the agency has begun actively advising white men who believe they've experienced bias to file claims going so far as to create targeted outreach for that demographic. Critics say this represents a dramatic departure from the agency's original mission, which was born out of the civil rights movement to protect those facing entrenched and systemic discrimination. Civil rights leaders were quick to push back. Derrick Johnson, president of the NAACP, strongly rejected the idea that civil rights laws have harmed white Americans. He emphasized that there is no credible empirical evidence supporting that claim and reminded the public that the Civil Rights Act was enacted to dismantle a long and documented history of exclusion and discrimination. Many legal scholars argue that the administration's framing blurs critical distinctions. Affirmative action, they note, is a specific and increasingly limited policy area, very different from the broader anti-discrimination principles embedded in United States law, which are designed to protect everyone. Critics also warn that deprioritizing systemic discrimination could weaken protections for groups that still face measurable gaps in employment, education, housing access, and interactions with the criminal justice system. At its core, this debate isn't just about policy. It's about how America defines equality itself. Trump's statements signal a reinterpretation of civil rights that places individual claims of disadvantage by historically advantaged groups at the center, rather than focusing on collective remedies for communities that have faced long-term structural barriers. Legal experts suggest this shift could really reshape how lawsuits are argued, how agencies enforce the law, and how the public understands civil rights protections. It could influence who brings discrimination cases, what evidence actually matters, and which harms are considered legally significant. This emphasis on reverse discrimination also aligns with other administration initiatives, including changes to refugee and immigration policies that critics argue disproportionately benefit white applicants. Taken together, these moves reflect a broader ideological approach, one that reframes civil rights around fairness for majorities rather than equity for minorities. As the administration continues to advance this narrative, legal challenges are almost certain to follow. Civil rights organizations, labor groups, and advocacy coalitions are expected to bring new cases testing how far federal agencies can go in redefining enforcement priorities. Congress may also be drawn into the debate, especially as courts are asked to weigh competing visions of equality, fairness, and constitutional guarantees. For lawyers, employers, educators, and everyday citizens, the evolving interpretation of civil rights law under Trump is something to watch closely. Whether this moment marks a lasting transformation or a temporary recalibration, one thing is clear. The conversation around civil rights in America is entering a new and contentious chapter, and its outcome could shape the country's legal and social landscape for decades to come. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like this video, share it with others who care about understanding the forces shaping our world, and subscribe to the channel for more clear, in-depth analysis. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.